Have you ever had your childhood crush smile at you? Well, I know I did. And when you're a shy, skinny kid with glasses, that means the world to you. It's like the God speaking to you, giving you a sign. So I took massive action. My imagination started to run wild. I went to the store and I bought this big lollipop, this rainbow big lollipop, right? It was about as big as my head. And I also bought some red roses, red plastic roses, don't judge me. And last but not least, I bought a card. And I wrote in the card, do you like me? Yes, no, or maybe. I know y'all remember that. And so my crush, she lived on my block. And so I put my best dressed clothes on and I walked down to her house and knock on the door. And to my surprise, she opens the door and she looked at me like, dude, what are you doing here? And so I put on my best smile and said, hey, listen, I bought you these things. I was thinking about you. So she quickly snatches the items from me, closed the door, and I walk on back home thinking I've accomplished my goal. Well, I get home, 5 minutes turned to 10 minutes, 10 minutes turned to hours. Hours felt like days. And I didn't hear anything about, hey, do you like me? I need to know something. So what I did next, I sent my sister on a recon mission to find out what happened. Her and my sister were, pretty cool friends. Well, my younger sister gets back and she gives me the message that, hey, she threw away the flowers, she threw away the card, but she kept the lollipop. And matter of fact, the day after that, I saw her my crush actually eating a lollipop. Pretty tough. Well, when you're a shy, skinny kid with glasses, that crushed me, man. That devastated me. But I learned something that day. I learned that if you wanted something so bad, which I wanted, it'll cause you to imagine something greater. Imagine past your current circumstance. Imagine past your fears. Imagine past all the things that felt like they kept you in bondage. And you can see yourself doing some great things. And it'll cause this energy. And from that energy, you're going to act on it. Anything that I learned that anything that I can think and feel in my heart, that it will cause me to do that. And I felt like I am what I say I am. So getting out of the NFL, matter of fact, when I was cut, that's a whole nother story. They released me, sent me home. I had an identity crisis. 20 years of playing football was pretty tough to switch and do something else. Like I played football from elementary school, middle school, high school, prep school, University of Virginia, Philadelphia Eagles, and a few other teams in the NFL. But once that was over, it's time for change. Well, you may not can associate with my journey going into the NFL, but you can associate with 20 years of anything can cause you to love and grab a hold to it. But when the change comes, it's hard to change, right? 20 years of a marriage, now divorce. 20 years of relationships, now over. 20 years of a job, then you're fired. 20 years of anything can cause you to say, hey, I don't want to change, but it comes. And we all ask that question, what now? And so for me, I was asking myself that question, what now? What do I do? How do I supposed to feel? What's my purpose? I woke up feeling bad. I went to bed feeling bad. I felt like I hadn't accomplished things I wanted to accomplish. I felt like I could play another 20 years of football, but that wasn't so. So I walked around just feeling this way, looking for answers. It has to be a bigger purpose than this. It has to be a better feeling than this. I don't want another car. I don't want another house. I just want to feel better, right? And so I went into my imagination to start to feel what I would feel. And lo and behold, I found myself watching The Dark Knight, Batman. If you haven't seen that movie, it's one of the greatest movies ever. And I really honed in on the Joker's character, Heath Ledger, not Joaquin Phoenix, the new one, but I'm talking about the Heath Ledger character. Now, Heath Ledger was like the darling at that time of Hollywood. He had all the best roles, the pretty boy roles, the knight in shining armor, but he chose this role off the beaten path. And it was a sinister character. And the things that he did to get into character, they say he did to get into character are legendary. So I really started studying it because I'm into it. You got my attention now. What's going on? And so they say he went into a hotel room and locked himself for 30 days. And basically what he did is he just journaled what the Joker would sound like. How would he walk? What type of clothes would he have on? What would his face paint look like? He studied other villains from other movies. Like he put all of these things in his imagination to create this new character for a movie. And he got so far into character, they say that he immersed himself so far into character that he couldn't get out once the movie was over. And sadly enough, he had an accidental overdose and we lost him. And I felt real bad because that's one of my favorite characters. Whether that's true or not, him losing himself, it dawned on me. If a man, an actor, if Heath Ledger can do this for a movie and immerse himself totally into a whole new character, well, I can do that for my life. So what did I do? I did exactly what Heath did. I started to immerse myself into the person I wanted to be. And what did I want to be? I wanted to share my message with the world. I wanted to be a speaker. I wanted to be an inspiration to people. And so I locked myself, like I said, I'm journaling notes. What would I say? How would I act? What would I look like? What would I wear? How would they respond to me? Those are the things that I started actually putting in myself and doing it time and time again repeatedly until I felt like I was immersed as a new character. Now, if you had walked in my house a few years back, you would have saw me talking to thin air. But in my mind, I was talking to millions of people. I had restructured myself through my imagination. And as I started to do this and do it more and getting more things and sharing my message more on stages and sharing my message more through social media, I started to remember, hey, I did this before. I used my imagination to do something before like this. What was it? What was it? Let me see. Oh, yeah. I used my imagination to get into the NFL, to go play college ball. You like, Billy, what do you mean by that? Well, I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. In my room, when I was a young kid, I had pictures of all the superstars on my wall. I had the college players over here, I had the NFL players over here, and I just reenacted what they did in those pictures. On Sundays and Saturdays, if they did it on TV, I'm going outside and doing it on the field. And I wasn't just acting it out, I was really trying to be this person in my imagination. So I immersed myself into this character that now I'm no longer a shy kid with glasses. Now I'm an actual football player and got us focused on getting to the next level. And so it was like, wow. When I remember that, I was like, did I just find the key to life here? Did I just find the key to life? And I realized at that point that I'm not a football player. I'm not a speaker. I'm not a friend. I'm not a brother. I'm not a father. Those are just characters in my life's movie. I am what I say I am. And anytime I want to, I can recreate my life. And you can do the same thing. If you bleed blood and you breathe this air, you have the imaginative power to recreate your life time and time again, no matter what successes you had, no matter what failures you had. That's just the way we're built. And I found out that this power was given to us freely. We don't have to work for it. So we're made with this. Like when you're born, you have this power. You can start then, right? And so this power allows us to be great in every area of our life. It allows us to recreate time and time again. And you don't have to ask anybody's opinion. You're made like this. You're made free. Imagine well.